You and, of course, to everyone watching at home.
Yeah, we're going to get started tonight with the newest developments out of Ukraine. Today, the White House announced new sanctions against Russia and its ally, Belarus. The sanctions should limit the country's ability to access materials that they would need to support their military. Also today, the Justice Department launched a task force to enforce new sanctions imposed by the U.S. on Russia. The new unit will investigate and prosecute current and future sanctions related to the Ukraine invasion.
Betsy, also happening today, in fact, just a couple of hours ago, in its first emergency session in 25 years, the United Nations General Assembly voted to demand Russia ends its invasion and immediately withdraw its troops from Ukraine. It also called on Russia to reverse its decision to recognize two separatist regions of eastern Ukraine as independent. These types of resolutions are not legally binding, but they do reflect a united international opinion of what is currently going on there.
And a second round of talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegates are set to take place sometime today. They're supposed to take place in Belarus, a Russian ally, which is near the Poland border. The first round lasted about 5 hours on Monday, ended without any breakthrough. Well, the crisis along the Ukrainian border is growing tonight as hundreds of thousands of refugees flee from the violence.
And neighboring countries like Poland are welcoming refugees, which are flooding in both on foot and by train. NBC's Jay Gray kicks off our coverage tonight from a train station just over the Polish-Ukrainian border.
Good afternoon, and look, we're in the Przemyśl train terminal, about 3 miles or so from the border crossing here. We've been granted special access to this area by the Polish army for what they're describing as a special mission this evening. Come with me, I want to show you what's going on. This train, 16 cars long, just pulling into the station here, and it's filled with people who have moved from the Odessa region along the coast into Poland, fleeing the violence there. It is filled with predominantly women and children, more than 2,000 children, we are told, and many of those children are orphans. So they're trying to get these kids out into safety. It's something they've been working on for quite some time here, and it's come to fruition as this train pulls into the station. That's the very latest here along the Poland-Ukraine border. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. Now here at home, Cleveland Pierogi Week has kicked off, and this year restaurants are making sure they give back, given what's going on right now in Ukraine. Emma Henderson shows us how food has the ability to bring us together.
Food, it's a shared experience that surpasses language barriers and borders. It has the ability to educate you about a culture in one bite. And now it's uniting Clevelanders for a common cause.
There's a great many places that are doing this, and that's what it's all about, is coming together, celebrating, and sometimes commiserating.
Pierogi Week was already set before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and now at most participating restaurants, ordering the traditional dish also means supporting Ukrainian refugees, a cause that hits home for immigrant son owner Andrew Revy, whose parents are from Hungary.
My father left 2 weeks before the revolution in 1956, and he was in the Hungarian army. It does bring back memories of stories that he had told, escaping with a group in the middle of the night across the Austrian border with guards on the border with AK-47s and German Shepherd dogs.
His mother and father had a team rallying support to finally be allowed into the United States as a married couple. Revy says watching stories about Ukrainian refugees has his mom thinking about some who could soon be facing similar struggles.
The city of Cleveland is a city of immigrants, and part of the ethos of what we're about here is culture.
There's a lot of memories attached to food, and Revy, along with many other local restaurant owners, are hopeful Cleveland's Pierogi Week will help do some good.
Revy says credit needs to go to Market Garden Brewery. They were the first to spearhead the idea of having some of these proceeds go to Ukraine, and they also were the ones who looked into the right organization. They landed on the International Rescue Organization, which works directly with refugees. Jay?
All right, Emma Henderson live tonight on What's New. Emma, thank you.
Oh, friends, we all get them, and we all hate them. And I am talking about robocalls. And I'm talking to you, Rachel, from Cardholder Services. But here's the thing. We have good news to tell you about this tonight, because a new law is now in effect that cracks down on those calls. The law specifically targets spoofing, when people use numbers that look like they're from your area code, hoping that you'd pick up to see them. Well, now those caught spoofing will face penalties for telecommunications fraud. The Ohio Attorney General's office says it got more than 23,000 reports of unwanted robocalls to its office just last year.
All right, 23,000 reports, but I did some reading on this today. This bill was passed back in January. It goes into effect today. This new state law that makes Ohio the toughest state in the nation to receive a robocall. That's good news.
That's great.
So we're, at least if we get them, we're getting fewer than other states. Last year, just under 2 billion robocalls were placed in the state of Ohio. I broke up my calculator because I know how much you love math.
Yeah.
That breaks down to 170 robocalls for every man, woman, and child living in the state of Ohio. I got 170 last year.
I think I
get
got
one about every other day.
I think I got some for everybody else. I think I got my 170, and then I got a lot of others also.
Yeah, well, this is good news. Now, hopefully it works, because we've reported on legislation in the past that was supposed to eliminate robocalls, and I'm still getting them. In fact, I got one today.
I like to write down like who it supposedly was that called, like, you know, and the time and all that stuff.
I listened to them, and sometimes at the end it says to opt out of these messages, hit 9. Ooh. Today I did that.
Yeah.
And then I go and I block that number.
Okay.
So I never have to worry about getting one from that same number.
I've heard stories like if you press 9, that's an acknowledgement of something, and therefore now they know it's you, and blah, 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 blah.
Maybe.
It's all...
maybe I'm falling for their little trap. I'm done with them, though. I really am. And I hope this new legislation actually works.
Oh,
Let's hope it does. All right, let's turn to football, more specifically the Cleveland Browns. The top college football players in the nation are heading to Indianapolis this week for the annual NFL Draft Combine. Drills and the workouts for all the players will begin tomorrow, but many of the NFL's general managers and head coaches are already there, and they spent the day talking to reporters. And as you can imagine, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski was drilled about his team's quarterback situation. We know Baker Mayfield is going into the final year of his deal. We also know he's coming off an injury and surgery. So it is almost a given that competition for the quarterback job with the Cleveland Browns will soon be heading to town.
Baker, all of our players understand that it's a competition. You're getting challenged every single day. They treat every day like a challenge. So I'm comfortable with how that goes, but how the rest of the offseason goes, I think we'll see.
Look, you have to have competition at every position.
Sure.
And last year drives home why. We saw all the injuries last year. You need to be strong with your second unit as well, because you never know when that person's going to be called on to win a game. It happened 3 different times for the Browns last year. So as you survey the quarterback landscape out there, it's not a quarterback-rich draft. The 2022 draft class will not be rich and loaded with quarterback talent. There's a guy by the name of Mitch Trubisky.
I know that
who
name.
is from just up the road in Menor.
Yeah.
Of course, he started his career with the Bears, who were really offensively challenged. He did have a Pro Bowl season in Chicago before things went terribly south. He signed last year with the Buffalo Bills on a 1-year free agent contract. He never saw the field because Josh Allen, of course, is a superstar there. But he had a chance to sit and watch and learn. And I think he'd be a great guy for the Browns to sign and bring in for both competition for Baker and as an insurance policy. I don't know that they're going to do that. He's going to be in demand because he's proven that he had a Pro Bowl season with the Bears.
Yeah.
So that's a guy that I'd like to see them bring in. Whether or not they do that, I don't know.
Well, we've done the whole quarterback dance before. I mean, this is Cleveland. This is what we do.
We invented the quarterback dance.
We have lists of people who have been quarterback. Can we talk about wide receiver, though? Because I know
that's a good point.
That's a huge part of this, too. Do we go big money wide receiver?
We're going to have to.
Save money on quarterback?
Yeah, we're going to have to go big money there.
Listen to me.
No, you know what you're talking about here. And you're making perfect sense. Because once upon a time, not that long ago, 4 months ago, we had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, yeah.
They both were here with the intent of bringing a Super Bowl here. Well, Odell was cut, signs with the Rams. He's brought a Super Bowl now to L.A.
Landry's injured?
And Landry had a big injury season last year. He's due to make $16 million next year.
Ooh.
Andrew Berry, the GM, was asked specifically about Jarvis Landry, and he did not give a ringing endorsement that he's bringing him back. What he said about Jarvis was he was very key in turning around our culture, and he was. but he was very evasive when it came time to talk about bringing him back. I think the Browns will offer him a reduced deal, not the $16 million. Don't know what that number will be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jarvis in another uniform next year.
Wow. Always drama, isn't it, friends?
Never stops.
All right, next on What's New. If you trust TikTok with your skincare, we have an interesting new viral tip that claims to make your skin brighter and tighter.
And honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't trust TikTok with your skincare.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I can't wait for that. Plus, for those waiting patiently for the upcoming Larry David documentary, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. That is because the whole project has been pulled just a day before it was supposed to debut on HBO. We'll tell you why ahead in Pop Break.
Matt, I'm really glad you're here to do weather because I'm seriously considering defecting to sports because of that little bit of knowledge I just threw down in that discussion.
It was real.
Betsy, I clipped it. I've got it for your reel. ESPN will be calling.
I need to beef the resume up, so hey, anything I can do to fill it out, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. You'll be great someday, I'll tell you what. Weather-wise, the weather was going to be great someday as well, especially this weekend. We've got eyes towards the 60s, but we've got to get there first. Your evening out forecast, winter going to win back over the next 48 hours, 40s down into the 30s. And yeah, there's some rain and snow that's going to be moving in. We'll talk how much, and then we'll talk the big warm-up coming up on the other side of the break.
Any understanding yet? I'm getting there.
It is Wellness Wednesday, and here on What's New. And tonight we're focusing on skincare. Mm-hmm. Now, if you weren't paying attention, but you heard the word skincare, odds are your ears perked up and you're like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? Some pay a small fortune, Betsy, I'm told, to make sure that their skin looks its best.
Or at least try.
They try to make sure it looks its best. Now, the goal, I'm told, also is to have your skin as bright and as tight as possible. Am I right?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So TikTok is actually bringing back an old concept to try to do this. And they're saying that it will save you big money in the process.
It's called slugging.
I had never heard of this before.
I know. Now, before you start thinking slugs and gross things.
That's what I immediately thought.
Let's go more toward petroleum jelly, okay? So petrolatum jelly, a.k.a. Vaseline, Aquaphor, whatever you want. You can use it to moisturize your skin. Dr. Faith Durden with Western Reserve Dermatology told us people of African and Asian ancestry have been doing this for generations. So a lot of you are probably going, oh, we did that back in the day. Well, anybody can do it at any time, and there are steps that you should take just before trying on this inclusive barrier, okay? First, you got to wash your face with gentle cleanser. That's pretty much step one of any skincare routine. Next, apply a moisturizer within 3 minutes of washing your face. This time of the year, if you don't put moisturizer on your face right after you wash it, it feels like you have a trampoline on your face. It's terrible. And then comes the slugging.
While the trend advocates using copious amounts of these barrier ointments, those of us in dermatology would recommend that you apply a very thin layer. There are going to be some people who won't even tolerate that thin layer. It just feels uncomfortable to sleep in, but yet they want that intensive hydrating treatment.
Okay. Don't use a lot. A little bit goes a long way. If you've ever used Vaseline as a diaper cream, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This can be used by almost anyone. Obviously, you need to use caution if you have oily skin, if you have acne, and any skin irritation on your face. Now, Dr. Durden also says when it comes to moisturizing, there are some topicals that you do not include if you want to do the slugging.
One would want to avoid occluding retinol, retinoic acids, the beta hydroxy acids, and the alpha hydroxy acids, because that actually could increase one's potential for irritation. Using hyaluronic acid, by contrast, is moisturizing, so it's perfectly fine to use an occlusive agent over a hyaluronic acid.
Okay, so that hyaluronic is moisture binding, so it's holding the moisture in your skin. You lather on just a little tiny bit of the Vaseline and it locks it all in. And again, you only need a pea-sized amount. Avoid your eye and inside of your nose, unless you have very dry air. That was an old college hack. You put Vaseline inside your nose.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
You can also try slugging in the morning rather than overnight to avoid getting ointment on your pillow. If you are to the point where you are putting Vaseline on your face to try to use some moisturizing, your pillowcase is the least of your worries.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You're going to make a mess, though.
Yeah.
So you put it on overnight? You sleep with that on?
You can. People can.
Okay.
I mean, Vaseline has been around forever. It was invented, 1872?
It was.
I've always used it as like the big defense mechanism on your hands or your feet.
Sure.
When it's super dry, you put some water on your hands and you lather on a whole bunch of that stuff, and then you sleep with socks on your hands, which is very sexy.
Yeah, my wife does that a lot. It's a good look. It's a good look.
Hi.
You know, you can start fires with Vaseline. It's extremely flammable.
Yeah.
It prevents rust. It prevents. Yeah, don't light up if you put that on your face. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I'll let you try it and report back to me.
There's points when you just want to do anything to keep moisture on your face, and you know it's really when we get really cold, dry air. Thank goodness it doesn't seem like that's the case. As a matter of fact, Matt, we actually maybe. Oh no.
He's trying it right now.
Yeah, I need to go back to
Don't do Vicks Vapor Rub.
I need you to go to the first step. I heard just a small amount, and that was after I put some on.
I can't believe you're doing this right now.
It looks like he's using Vicks.
It's not Vicks. Don't use Vicks Vapor Rub. Like your face will fall off with menthol, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Right. And then Jay says it's flammable. Thanks, Jay.
It is. I'm not making that up. It's very
Space
flammable.
heater over
Well,
here.
your skin is going to be very supple just later this evening.
And don't walk by any open flames.
I won't. I usually don't.
Your weather word today is hydration.
There you go.
That's
That's
a
an
slam
easy
dunk.
one.
Yeah,
Easy
that's
one.
great. Oh, we'll get that in
Hydration.
super easy. That's in the forecast. I've got it written in there for
figured it
Saturday.
was.
Yeah, it'll be good. Okay, right now, temperatures outside. This is interesting because we had the spring-like air mass down to the south. You notice how we had the 40s and 50s down to the south. They made it all the way up almost to the lakeshore today, but we've got a lake breeze that's kicked in, so we're cooling down quickly. 30s and 40s out in Lake and Ashtabula County right now. And boy, is there a difference down to our south. Look at this, 80 St. Louis right now, 54 Chicago. I mean, that's a 4-hour drive. We're talking almost a 30-degree difference. For us, you get down towards Nashville, it's 70. I mean, it is true winter versus spring going on across the country right now. And you can see it here. Cold off towards the north, spring-like down to the south. The next 2 days, winter's going to win out. We've got a clipper system moving in. Look at all the snow breaking out across the areas of Michigan. That is going to slide across the lake. It'll start as rain, change over to some snow this evening. So we've got winter tomorrow and Friday, but as we get on into Saturday and Sunday, this spring-like air mass is going to rebound, and we're talking pretty around here in terms of the temperatures. You'll see it here in a second. But as we go through time tonight, temperatures holding steady. We drop back into the 20s tomorrow morning. So cold bus stop, commute to work tomorrow morning. A quick little hit of some rain changing over to snow tonight. National Zymark hour by hour picking up on that. Notice how the rain expands on radar. Your plants, your soil, that's really not doing anything yet. It's going to have nice hydration tonight as this rain moves in across the area. I almost slipped on this Vaseline. You notice how that rain kind of changes over to snow later on this evening. So by midnight, we're talking a wet, gloppy snow across much of northeast Ohio. And then it's out of here. Tomorrow morning, it's like nothing ever happened. Notice these clouds. That's lake effect cloudiness. Model's not picking up on a lot of snow, but as we know, Lake Erie can do its own thing. So we may have some snow showers and flurries to contend with, mainly through midday tomorrow. We should get some drier air in here tomorrow afternoon. It's cold tomorrow, folks. We're going to struggle to get out of the 20s for highs. What a difference, right? Here's your slushy coating tonight, maybe up to an inch if all goes well. Doesn't look like a lot in terms of the snowfall front, just to remind us it's still winter around here. Forecast high temperatures, though. Boy, do we rebound. 60s on Saturday and Sunday. It's been a while. In fact, it's been 104 days since we've had 2 days back-to-back in the middle 60s, and I think we do it. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. That's going to come at a price, so we've got showers, even some thunderstorms possible this weekend before temps drop next week. We'll detail that system more detailed coming up in the next half hour. We'll be back.
I just turned my mic on, so it might not be coming through. Okay.
Welcome back to What's New. It's time right now for our entertainment reporter, Kiara Cotton. She's going to get us caught up on all the celebrity and entertainment news coming out of Hollywood and elsewhere.
Hey there, Key. Hi, Jay and Betsy. You know, fans waiting for the Larry David documentary will have to wait just a little bit longer. The upcoming documentary, titled The Larry David Story, has been pulled from HBO Max just one day before its release. HBO released a tweet saying, "Larry has decided he wanted to do it in front of an audience. Stay tuned for more information." The two-part documentary was set to focus on the career, fame, and life of the 74-year-old award-winning producer, writer, and comedian. New details surrounding the release of the documentary have not yet been announced. And Tristan Thompson can't stay out of the spotlight, but at least this time it wasn't his fault. During the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat game earlier this week, fans decided to give him a hard time. While attempting to make a free throw, the 30-year-old was met with chants of Chloe, his ex-girlfriend's name. Thompson has been in the doghouse after fathering a third child while dating the reality TV star. The two have since parted ways, but continue to co-parent their daughter, True. And if you have plans to see The Batman this weekend at an AMC theater, you might be shelling out more cash. The movie theater announced yesterday that as part of a variable pricing experiment, they would be charging higher prices to see the film. According to reports, the increase is roughly $1.50 more than any other movie playing at the same venue at the same time. The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as the Caped Crusader, hits theaters this Friday. Now, it seems as though the cost of everything is going up right now. So, Jay and Betsy, what do you guys think? Are you willing to pay more to see more highly anticipated movies?
I think I would be if it was one that I was highly anticipating.
The Batman is not
really
one of
into
those.
the Batman thing.
I've read some reviews on Batman, and I've read a couple that say this is the best Batman ever.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of buzz around that. Yeah. Also, Key, I love your Cavs colored inspiration today.
Absolutely.
I know they're home tonight, so you're going to jump over to your night job when you're done here. We got to, pull together some positive juju for our team because they've lost 4 of their last 5.
Ouch.
They need that win tonight. So I think your colors are going to put them over the top, Key.
I hope so. Go Cavs.
All right, very good. Okay, today's Worth the Watch comes to us from our Facebook friend, Dawn Bricker. She has a dog named Onyx, and Onyx has itchy front legs. Has since the time she was a pup. She's 9 now, and she's perfected the art of scratching both of her front legs at the same time. And she's also got her tongue going. There's a whole gimmick process going on there. We really appreciate you sending us that Worth the Watch. It's a beauty, and it made my day when I saw that. I saw it for the first time yesterday.
It feels so good. It's so good.
It just got the whole rhythm thing going. It's perfect. Absolutely
So
perfect. Now, we know that you have good videos that are probably on your phone that are worth the watch. You can send them our way. Or if you see one online that's funny and makes you laugh, odds are it will make us laugh too. You can send them to us by going to our 3 What's New Facebook page. You have to ask to be a member. Very exclusive club. We let everyone in. So you got to go and ask for permission, and then once you're in, you can send us your videos, and who knows, we may show them on TV. All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New, gas prices surging today, both on Wall Street and Main Street. We're going to tell you how high and why coming up.
And fans of Nike athletic shoes may have noticed they're available in fewer places. Harder to find right now. We'll tell you what's behind the disappearing Nikes.
And a piece of American history with a very interesting tie to Cleveland. Sells at auction for $825,000. Stephanie's going to be along with all of the details on that story ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin at 5:30 with three things you need to know, and we start in Ukraine, where talks with Russia were scheduled to happen sometime today. This for the second time this week. In the meantime, Russia stepped up attacks on major Ukrainian cities. Today marks 7 days since Russia's invasion. Also, in an emergency session of the UN's General Assembly, 141 member nations out of the 193 voted in support of a resolution demanding Russia immediately withdraw from Ukraine.
We have some breaking news to tell you now. The Ohio House and Senate have passed a bill that will allow Ohioans to carry concealed weapons without a permit, and it's now being sent to Governor DeWine for his signature. Senate Bill 215 allows those 21 and older who can legally own a gun to carry it concealed with no training or license required. It also removes the requirement to tell law enforcement officers about the weapon unless asked. Supporters say it removes burdens on Second Amendment rights, while opponents, including many police organizations, say it could make our communities less safe. We'll have more on this coming up on 3 News at 6.
And Betsy, we have an update now on the redrawing of the congressional maps here in Ohio. Today, Republicans on the Ohio Redistricting Commission sent an adjusted map of congressional districts to Ohio's Supreme Court. The adjusted map gives 2/3 of the seats to Republicans. Frustrated Democrats opposed the latest plan and are proposing a map that is more evenly divided. It also proposed a series of 4 amendments that would boost Democratic representation within the GOP-drawn map. Both efforts were unsuccessful, and now we wait for the state's highest court to once again make a ruling. And with that, we welcome you into the second half hour of What's New, along with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Haven't talked much about COVID. Obviously, we know that our numbers have been dropping in dramatic amounts over the last month and a half. Today is somewhat of a milestone because today, for the first time since August of last year, Ohio hospitals now have fewer than 1,000 COVID-19 patients.
That's great.
It's been a long time. And also, and this is key because this talks about the transmission in any given population, Ohio's positivity rate, 7-day average now, is at 4.3%.
Wow.
And that is well below what the WHO recommends. That's the first time we've been below 4.4% since July of last year.
Wow.
So we're turning a real corner. And a lot of these mask mandates, we've already seen them dropped. A lot more are coming in the days and weeks to come.
Well, we are still keeping an eye on the calendar, too, because today marks 18 days to the official start of spring.
Getting there.
Our viewer picture was submitted by Mary Melquish. It's a picture of baby birds on her back deck in Parma. Look at the mama bird there on that hanging plant. So pretty.
It's a good picture. It really is. 18 days inside of 3 weeks. We're getting close. Okay, our top talker today is really one of the top talkers around American dinner tables, has been for the last couple of months. Prices of gasoline on the rise. In a lot of places in Northeast Ohio, you may have noticed quite a jump in prices from just yesterday. We found gas in places across the area going for as much as $3.69 per gallon. Prices are up all across the country over the past week by about 11 cents. And Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy says this is likely just the beginning.
$4 a gallon, that is definitely a possibility for the national average by April or May.
Yeah, feels like we're a lot closer to that right now than anyone thought we would be. Right now, the national average sits at $3.66 for a gallon. There are parts of California that's already well over $5 a gallon. The last time we paid more than $4 a gallon for gasoline was way back in July of 2008. This is according to Gas Buddy. So the prices aren't coming down anytime soon. I think this is going to be the new normal for a while.
Yeah, and then we haven't even talked about like when they do the switch over to this summer blend of gas, and that changes things a little bit. And of course, more people are going to be on the roads for summer breaks and whatnot. So, well, we asked our viewers on the 3 What's New Facebook page how they are dealing with the price hikes. Sue Clark says she's using cruise control when she's on the interstates, bundling her trips and making sure her tires aren't low on air. All good things, Sue.
Sure.
Well done.
Things we should do all the time, really.
And Lainey Marks says she eliminated all fast food and coffee shops. She's just saving money all over the place.
I see. So she's saving money on
the trips,
other things that she would normally be spending them on because she's paying more for gasoline. I read pretty extensively on this morning. So what happened this morning, and really it happened overnight in the Asian markets because they kind of set the tone for what happens here in our afternoon trading. Prices for a barrel of oil shot up $7 to $12. They were fluctuating all over the place. They're already over $100 a barrel in China. And that set the tone for us. I think the American and really world markets were hoping that President Biden would do more than what he did yesterday, because he talked about releasing the 30 million barrels from the reserve.
Just over 1 day supply for the United States.
Yeah, so that wasn't the move they were looking for. They're looking for increased production. We are buying an inordinate amount of oil every day from Russia. And that, of course, is putting money in Putin's pocket so he can fight this war. So there are a lot of folks that want to end that immediately, but the only way you do that is if you produce more here at home. So that's where we are right now. If you're trying to find Nike shoes and you're finding it a little more difficult, you're not alone. You're now no longer able to get your favorite shoes, if they are, at Foot Locker. And here's why. According to Forbes, Nike has pulled all of its products out of all Foot Lockers. They did this last week. Now, Nike made up 70% of Foot Locker's in-store shoe sales in 2021. The move isn't a total surprise by industry insiders because they've been doing this, Nike, for a while. Over the last couple of years, they've been cutting back on third-party distribution in order to focus more on the direct-to-consumer efforts. And that makes a lot of sense. A lot of folks are cutting out that middleman. And one of the first big things that Nike did here was to drop Amazon. So that you can't get Nike products any longer on Amazon. They discontinued selling directly online to the giant some time ago. It also dropped DSW, Dillard's, Zappos, Urban Outfitters, and the Shoe Show. So the thinking here is kind of like Apple. You know, for a lot of Apple products, you've got to go right to the source to get those products. You're not going to find a lot of them in other retailers. They feel they can better control the price. And if a middleman isn't involved, they can lower their prices, which of course would increase sales. That's the thinking. But there is some risks to doing this.
Is it going to happen, number one?
That's the question. I mean, I think you and I and most folks in our generation are now clicking to buy, but there are still folks that go to the brick and mortars to buy their stuff.
I like to try my shoes on.
I know, I do too.
When I have to order online now, I got to order 2 pairs.
Yeah,
then I got to go and send one back.
It's a pain.
And
it is. I'm with you.
Just let me buy them in the store, and I don't want to have to hunt down a special store. So
I'm old school that way too.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, next on What's New for us, the latest on a push to make Asian American Pacific Islander history part of the state's curriculum.
Plus, a Cleveland mom got a nice surprise today on the Kelly Clarkson Show. It's quite a story. We're going to have that for you coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. But first, Matt with his freshly slugged skin. He's looking fresh and clean.
You are just radiant.
Thanks, guys.
Weather in a jiffy.
I feel like I'm breaking out now. Everything's bright red, so that's okay. You know what? Down south, they've got high pollen already, all the way up towards Atlanta side of things to come. Yep. So, you know, if you're liking the 60-degree temperatures, don't forget it comes with this, right? They were just shaking that tree like crazy. Oh, man. Don't miss that from being down south.
It's backyard last spring.
Oh, my God.
Right. It was bad last spring. We'll be back.
Need a respirator. All right, here it is Wednesday, and you know, we keep doing this thing, and we do it every year about this time where we get a little bit warmer, and then we get cold again.
Yeah.
We get a little bit warmer, and then we get cold again.
Such a tease.
We get a little bit warmer, and we get cold again.
And we get a little warmer a little longer, and then we get colder a little less longer.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes.
It's a fun dance, and boy, it's really exciting as a meteorologist to look at a weather map now and just see the demarcation line of how cold it gets to how warm it gets in such a short span of distance, really, and that's exactly what we have going on right now. Boy, pick out the frontal boundary. It waffles back and forth as we've talked about last couple days, but you notice the difference between Arctic air and the warm air down to the south, and they are really enjoying spring for a good majority of the central and southern plains, Tennessee Valley, lower Ohio Valley. It has just been so nice for several days out there, and that's going to continue. But for us, we're right in that boundary, so we're going back and forth. The weekend, right? We've been talking about these numbers. Saturday and Sunday, spring's going to win out. We're going to be in the 60s both days. Some models pushing us towards 70. We're going to hold 60s for now. I don't think we need to get too crazy with this, but we've got 2 cold days in front of us before we get there, and we've got to deal with this system coming across the Great Lakes right now. Temperatures are coming down. We had the lake breeze, so we're already cold out towards the east. We're in the 50s and 40s south, but even that will come down as we go throughout the evening hours. Already seeing some rain develop on radar out in Ashtabula County, getting a good soaking right now. Becomes snow and a mix of rain and snow out over the lake. That transition will head south as we go through time. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Most of us in the rain by 8, 9, 10 o'clock this evening as the system comes through. Temperatures go from the 50s down into the 30s as quickly as midnight into 1 a.m. We're talking all snow, and this will be kind of a wet, gloppy snow from north to south. It clears out quickly. We'll have a slushy coating. All the rain that we have this evening and the snow will combine to freeze up tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind. Temperatures near 20 degrees tomorrow morning, so there will be slick spots. Could have some lingering lake effect snow, but that should quickly clear, and we're talking cold sunshine tomorrow afternoon. How much snow? Not much, maybe an inch or so. That's at best. I think most of us stay with a slushy ½ inch or so, and then we talk warm up. Friday's our recovery day. Saturday, Sunday, we're back into the warmth. Monday's our transition back to the cold again. I mentioned earlier that we're talking 104 days ago that we had 2 back-to-back mid-60 degree temperatures. How's it happening? Well, big old frontal boundary going to move in here. We've got a high pressure that's on the cold side next 2 days. Once this wind shifts around to the south, though, Friday night, Saturday, it's off to the races with temperatures. This will have a low pressure that heads up into the northern Great Lakes. Will likely stay dry. That's what's new in the forecast. Will likely stay dry on Saturday. Sunday, we bring in shower and even thunderstorm chances. But even Sunday late in the day, we could clear out temporarily before our next wave of rain moves in, and that will change to snow on Monday. Union Hill Mortgage 7-day forecast. Big up and down temperature swing over the next 7 days. Monday, we turn back to snow and a little bit cooler, but not too bad and not too long next week. Jay?
All right, Matt, thank you very much. On tonight's Education Station, a mission to make Asian American Pacific Islander history part of Ohio's school curriculum. A hearing on the proposed legislation was postponed last month, but as January Keaton shows us, the local AAPI community continues to raise awareness and gain support for Senate Bill 214.
In 2018, Tina Maharath became the first Asian American woman elected to the Ohio Senate. Now, the Lao politician is co-sponsoring Senate Bill 214, hoping to make Ohio the 3rd state after Illinois and New Jersey to include Asian American history in its public school curriculum.
American history is incomplete without including the contributions of all of its members. So that includes Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
Elaine Tsao heads up local Asian American Pacific Islander, or AAPI group, Asia, an acronym for Asian Services in Action. Asia planned to take a van full of supporters to the Ohio Capitol last month for a hearing on SB 214, but the hearing was postponed for a 4th time.
There is a history of, treating any community that is different, as either invisible or perpetually foreign.
Growing up, especially in middle school, I felt very isolated from my peers because I've always grown up in a predominantly white community.
Kaylee Rigo was adopted from China by a white family when she was 13 months old.
And I believe I would have had more confidence in myself, being Chinese and American, if I had learned more about my Asian history.
I know a lot of people struggle with their identities, including me, because we were never taught Asian American history in schools.
More and more students who would be directly impacted by the legislation are calling in and emailing to the Senate their testimonies in support for SB 214.
Well, I wrote the Senate, and then I'm going to testify in person when the hearing is rescheduled.
The effort comes amid a boom in the AAPI population nationwide, an 81% increase between 2000 and 2019, from 10.5 million people to nearly 19 million. And in a time of racial reckoning and resistance, with the controversial topic of critical race theory top of mind in the nation, supporters expect arguments against SB 214. But the bill, they say, simply amounts to teaching a complete American history.
Including AAPI history as part of the U.S. history curriculum for Ohio public school students, it really is just a completion of the history.
So I think it would just be a great step forward in our nation.
January Keaton, 3 News.
Well, as your education station, we of course need to talk about Read Across America Day. Today, people of all ages are encouraged to pick up a book and read. Schools and libraries across the region hosted various activities. 3 News' Jasmine Monroe and Austin Love visited our station's adopted school, Charles Dickens, to read with the students and give away some books. They got to wear those spiffy hats, too. So cool. Well, next on What's New, with Lent come the fish fries. Oh, yes, this is like my favorite time of the year. By the way, if you know a good fish fry with homemade pierogi, please let me know where it is. We have your Northeast Ohio guide to some of the best in our area ahead and clicking in Cleveland.
Plus, it's a blanket with a weather tie to it. Learn all about the Almanac Blanket when What's New comes right back.
Hey, mic check. You can get Amelia Earhart's hat if you have $825,000. Thank you.
All right, it's time to see what is clicking in Cleveland, and for that we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie. Happy Wednesday.
Hi there, Betsy. Happy Wednesday to you. You know, this first story just goes to show that it does pay to hang out here, because the helmet worn by Amelia Earhart in Cleveland just sold at auction for $825,000. She wore this helmet on a transatlantic flight from Wales to Cleveland, and she lost it in the crowd that greeted her at the landing. Now, the man who just sold it said his mother was there with school friends, and a boy who had a crush on her gave her the helmet after he found it on the ground. And she left it to her son, Anthony Twiggs. And he tried for years to authenticate it, and finally he was able to confirm it using photo matching technology. And now Anthony Twiggs is a very, very rich man. And it pays to do good work in Cleveland, too. Check out Krishandra Matthews, the founder of Literacy in the Hood, on the Kelly Clarkson Show today.
Nowhere in Cleveland that can help your child become a stronger reader, and that's what we want to create.
Her organization is all about getting parents and children involved in reading together. And today, she got a $10,000 check from Kelly Clarkson and Scholastic to continue that good work here in the land. She was also featured on the show last year when she got $5,000 and a van to promote her program. This is very exciting, and we cannot wait to see what she does next. And it is that time of year when people are on the hunt for those best fish fries in town, so we are here to make that easier for you. We have our fish fry guide at wkyc.com/fishfry. This is a map that pops up and you can scroll into it. You'll see little fishes on the map and you find the area you want to be in. Check out where those fish fries are closest to you and let us know about your favorite ones too. You can see the map there. You just scroll in there. It's super easy to do. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a submit button where you can let us know where your favorites are. We'll get a notification about it. We'll verify it and we will add it to the map. You know, these are the first days of Lent, so those fish fries will be popping up on Friday. So set your plan now. There you go, Betsy.
And
my gosh.
Repeat your request.
If it's got pierogi, you got to have the pierogi with the fish fries.
Okay.
Like it's just so good together.
Yeah, you're getting hungry just thinking
Love
about it,
me
aren't
some
you?
good fish fries. They are absolutely the best. You know what else is the best thing at fish fries?
What's that?
The desserts.
Yeah, well, that's the best thing ever.
We happen to have a dessert today on the show because
I know we
it's
do.
70th birthday! Happy birthday! Thank you.
She's 20-something.
She is.
Put candles on there, but she's in her 20s.
It's,
We're sure of that.
it's nothing but cake for you.
No, nothing. You know I love a good pen. That's a birthday present
Thank you.
in itself.
Right?
That's very beautiful cake.
Happy birthday.
Do we know anything about the flavoring of that?
It looks birthday cakey because it's got confetti in it.
Confetti cake. Oh,
Yes.
wow, that's really good.
That means extra sugar.
you. I love it.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Stephanie Haney.
Yes, happy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have
it's
to
a
go
very
have a
special day.
cocktail.
Oh, yes, we will.
Certainly. All right. Thank you and happy
Thanks,
birthday.
Steph, and happy birthday.
Well, next on What's New, I'm excited to show this off. A blanket with weather history that's woven right into it. We're going to tell you about the Almanac Blanket coming up next.
That's a beauty. Then on 3 News at 6, she sat next to First Lady Jill Biden at last night's State of the Union address. Today, our Isabel Lawrence caught up with Sandusky native Danielle Robinson. We'll hear what she thinks about her experience last night. That's coming up at 6 o'clock.
Hey Brooke, how you doing? I am good. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for being with us. Passed it earlier today. The bill is.
Hey Brooke, mic check. 1, 2, 3. How are you? Great, thanks. All right.
Dean Reek with the Buckeye Firearms Association.
Hey Brooke, I've got you. Mic check, Sarah's mic. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What we're trying to do is
Okay.
And they were running that.
They're
What?
doing stuff back there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. We're talking pierogi.
Goodness.
Hi Brooke, yep, I got you.
All right, I am so excited to get to show this up. You get to hold the key,
okay.
My friend Vanna. So these are obviously various colors of the strings in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. My friend Jan Householder knitted this blanket, and this is an almanac blanket. So she takes the average temperature for the week and then stitches 2 rows of that average temperature. So now you
This
can hold
starts
this
January.
corner. That's January. So
And
here's
then
our
it moves
cold.
along.
Look at our cold week in February last year. This is
In the
2021.
teens. That's our average.
We had a great summer. Wasn't it awesome in summer with our
80s
oranges?
is the orange
Exactly.
is 80s.
So all summer, and then we get back into where we have December. We have a little warm spell right at the end there with the greens here.
And this is for like Northeast Ohio?
This
for
is Cleveland.
For Cleveland.
For the year of 2021. It's basically your year in weather.
That's
represented
super
right
cool.
there, isn't it?
I think she should market these and mass produce them. I'll take 2.
A lot of knitters do this, and I didn't even know they existed until I started getting requests like, how do I find the average temperature? I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
It's beautiful though.
But yeah, they are pretty slick.
What's her name again?
Jan Householder. She lives in Wadsworth, former home ec teacher. She's now the CEO of the Giving Doll charity. You've probably heard me talk about that. St. Sue is on the board of that.
Beautiful.
So yeah, thank you, Jan. Appreciate it.
We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5. We hope to see you then.
3 News at 6 with Russ and Laura starts now.
So toasty.
Now at 6, no more concealed carry. State lawmakers say that's the goal of a new law that's on its way to Governor DeWine right now. We'll have the breaking details straight ahead. Also, a week of war. More rounds of bombing in Ukraine as Russian troops step up their attacks. We'll have the latest on the fighting and from the refugee crisis on the border of Poland. State of the Union shout out. We'll hear from the Northern Ohio woman who sat next to the First Lady during the address last night and what it meant for her to be there. And stopping scammers. The new law now in effect that's aimed at stopping robocalls from blowing up your phone. We'll tell you how it works.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is 3 News at 6 with Russ Mitchell and Laura Queso.